53% of the votes, and I would say today even less than 50%. So you can see this decreasing institutionalization of parties, but also the fractionalization, fragmentation, I think is the word, yeah, for party system fragmentation in recent years. And I think this fragmentation has repercussions on the electoral system. So the electoral system worked quite well in the 70s, 80s, but now with all these overhang seats, I think they have to reform it again. Yeah? And the parliament is too big with 700 members of parliament. So this is again with first vote and second vote, 50% proportional, 50% directly elected. So when I talk to the members of parliament, of Indonesia's parliament, I said Germany tried to combine the best of two worlds. The best of the proportional world, because it's so fair, yeah? Because there are not many wasted votes, because if you have 10% of the votes, you get 10% of the seats, but also the best of the majoritarian system, because the majoritarian system means there's a close connection between the member of parliament and the people in the constituency. Yeah, the best of two worlds, but if this is really the case, it's at least somehow questionable. Yeah? But I think the idea is not so bad, and this mixing up of different electoral systems is something that is gaining traction, is becoming more popular all over the world. Because of that, in the Philippines you have the party list system, and in Thailand you also have a split between two different systems. And in many other countries. So what else? I could also talk about party financing. The specific thing, if we talk about party financing in Germany, is that there are no spending limits. Yeah, parties can spend as much money as they want. They can also get as much money as they like from private persons, from companies, from entrepreneurs. In many other countries there are strict regulations. You can only spend this or this amount. In Germany not, but because of that there's a high degree of transparency. If a party spends €1 for anything, it has to report on that. And these regulations are very strict, and if you don't report and they detect this kind of fraud, you have to pay a lot of money. So this is one thing, high transparency, but otherwise not so many regulations. And there are different sources of party finances. For example, the Social Democratic Party gets a lot of money from their own members through fees. Yeah? If you're a member of the SPD, you pay maybe €1,000 a year. It's working, yeah. If you don't pay your fees, you will be expelled from the party. Yeah? So, but it depends on your salary. If you do not earn much, you don't pay much. But if you earn a lot, you really have to pay a lot. So fees are quite important, but I think they have been more important in the 1950s and 60s. You have to remember that the Social Democratic Party was a labor party in the 19th century, and these laborers were very much politicized, and the party was very important to them to represent their own interests as labor. So there was a very, very close connection between the party and the party members. So fees are very important, and then what else? Yeah, donations from private entrepreneurs, but unlike Indonesia, these donations are not very huge. So the main part is fees plus state funding. Yeah? The political parties get, for each vote they get at elections, a certain amount of money. I don't know how much, maybe 3 euros or 1 euro. So if the Social Democrats they got 20%, maybe 8 million votes, they will get, I don't know, 10 or 20 million euros. Yeah? And the same is true for elections at the state level, for example. So this is a lot of money, but when they spend this money, they again have to be very transparent about it. Yeah? And because the parties are highly democratic within, those people who spend the money for the party have to be transparent within their own party. Yeah? So the misuse or embezzlement of this money is almost impossible, although it is the right-wing populist party in Austria has now a scandal because one of the leaders obviously spent the money privately. Yeah? But in Germany this has of course also happened, but the regulations are quite strict and it is improbable at least, yeah? Especially in the larger parties. Yeah, there's something like that, yeah. Yeah, the Bundeswahlleiter, for example, yeah, there's something like I know you mean KPK. No, KPK, no, not really. I mean, we have Rechnungshof, what is that? That's what you also have. Audit, yeah, audit. What else? I mean, the administration of the parliament looks at party financing, especially. I think that's the agency that is responsible. Yeah. But yeah, we also have something like KPU. So what else? Yeah, for example, if a party gets at least 5,000 euros from BMW or from Mercedes, they have to write it down, and then there's an annual report, and then you can see who has spent money for CPU or SPE. So this is also part of transparency. And well, the result is that a candidate for one of these parties who campaigns in a constituency gets all the money from his own party and then spends this money, but he does not need his or her own money. So if you are a candidate in Germany, you don't need any money, you don't have to be rich. Yeah? And you are elected by the party in your constituency to become the candidate. And this selection process is also not impacted by money politics. So you're simply elected, but you don't pay to be elected. So this is, I think this is the usual way in most European countries. I think money politics, when it comes to the selection of candidates and to campaigning, is not important, but it does not play any role, I would say. Yeah? Even if Angela Merkel becomes chairwoman of the CDU, there was never any money involved. But I think these regulations are not simply transferable to Indonesia, because you would need intra-party democracy and very strong transparency. But this transparency within parties also does only work if you have transparency within your tax offices. Because the companies that donate money to political parties also have to be very transparent in Germany. Yeah? They have to write down where all the money goes to, but in Indonesia, so I think these regulations wouldn't work in Indonesia. What else? Here. If a party receives at least 0.5% of the vote in a nationwide election or 1% at the state level, they will get money. Yeah, that means, yeah, even the smaller parties who are not represented in parliament get a bit money if they reach this financial threshold. And yeah, for each vote the parties allocated 70 cents, so the Democrats got I think 8 million votes in 2017. It would be 5.6 million euros for the nationwide, the national elections alone. What's quite a lot of money. And then they will get additionally 38 cents by the state. I do not know in detail how that works. So 20 different parties in Germany receive grants all over Germany. Yeah. And the total grant, I think that was in 2017, was 133 million euros for all the parties. Yeah, here you can see the state subsidies for political parties until 2014. In 2014 it was almost 48 million for the CDU and more than 48 million for SPD and so on. And what else I think I have? And here you see expenses for election campaigns. So you see the Social Democrats and also the CDU spent around 47 million for campaigns, and that's almost the amount of money they got through state subsidies. So with state subsidies you can finance the campaigning alone, but then you of course need some money for party congresses and so on. But this is financed by fees and by private donations. What else? Yeah, and the costs of elections are quite moderate. In 2013, 65 million euros. The US presidential elections cost a few billion dollars. So that's maybe one of